culture is embarrassing. What he's talking about with headline culture is people that watch my videos and then make tweets about my videos without watching the videos.
Today's video is a pretty big departure from normal, honestly, but I did a thing, that thing caused another thing, and the resulting absurdity of it has become a perfect jumping off point to talk about the absolute clown world ridiculousness of headline culture, which seems to be the actual method by which most people browse the internet now. It never used to be this way, at least not when I was growing up, but the modus operandi, so it seems, is to read something, reacting only to the headline with as much emotional outrage as you can possibly muster, and then try to use that headline as a method of advancing whatever cause it is you find personally appealing.
Well, it makes sense whenever you think about it, because the more thinking that you have to put into something, the more inaccessible it becomes, because it's harder for people to understand thinking than understand getting mad. Everybody can understand getting mad. So if the only thing you have to talk about is 5 words and how you feel about those words, that's easy. That's super easy.
Any further context or fact-checking whatsoever.
Yeah.
I should be more precise here. It's not just that there's a lack of fact-checking. It's that there is a total lack of basic cognition.
Well, it's not a lack of fact-checking, because that would imply that if you told these people the facts, they would change their opinion. This is another thing on the internet, is that people make their opinion on something in the first 3 seconds, and then they think that they're stupid if something about their opinion changes later on in the future. The whole idea of changing your opinion based off of new evidence is considered a bad thing, because that means that you don't know what you're thinking, and it means you're going back on what you said.
And we all know it's happening. We're all passively disappointed by it probably every single day on some level or another. But for my part, I rarely have such an extreme example
You're flip-flopping,
presented with such brilliant clarity, plastered across the internet for all to see, that was kind of sort of my fault, or I was at least partially responsible for. Here's the story. Less than a week ago, I made a video. That video discussed the concept of video game publishers exploiting a current legal environment where game preservation laws don't really exist at all.
They don't.
And the resulting disappointment that is becoming more and more normalized, where they will delete or otherwise restrict access to video games that people have paid for.
We saw
the video itself was inspired by Ross over at Accursed Farms, excellent creator, definitely go check him out, who has put in a tremendous amount of effort to find actual methods of fighting back against this. And it's centered on the idea that if people are willing to take action, we might be able to do something about this problem and spur governments to craft intervening legislation, thereby preventing games from being sold as a product and then discontinued forever as if they're a service. All in all, I was pretty happy with that video. Ross did an incredible job making those actions possible. He continues to advocate on the subject even now, and the feedback was excellent overall, but that's not where the story ends.
No, of course not.
That's just the beginning. See, over the years, here and there, I've had people react to the videos that I post. I love when that happens. It's fun for me to see their opinions. I get exposure to a new audience, and it makes me think about things differently, at times, once in a while. I love it, I really do. However, the reaction to this particular video caused a bit of a problem. Asmongold, my sympathies to him here, the level of bullshit he has to deal with from people online is legitimately completely absurd. Asmongold decided to react to that video, subsequently kicking off one of the most obvious examples I've ever seen of people being brain dead. And here's why. Ross's original call to action
there it is.
Was titled, "The Largest Campaign Ever to Stop Publishers Destroying Games." My take on it was called, "They're Destroying Your Games, Don't Let Them." In hindsight, I suppose I could have said publishers are destroying games, don't let them, but it didn't seem quite as snappy. I clickbaited a tiny bit on that. The ambiguity of "they" felt like it might get more people to watch so they could find out who I'm talking about. And Asmongold's video after that was just, "They're destroying our games." I should add here, this is very important, that within the first 23 seconds of the video, I precisely clarified that I'm talking about publishers.
Well, how could you expect somebody to watch the first 23 seconds of something if they already made up their mind 2 seconds in? What, do you want them to just waste 20 seconds of their life?
Classic, man.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? Just read it. You just look at the title. Oh, look at that. Yeah, he's probably talking about Jews or woke people or something. Obviously, I hate this guy, so he's probably doing the things that I don't like. Fucking duh.
Of course.
Just look at it.
The video had nothing to do with current political controversies.
No.
And that this was a literal
30 seconds,
of
that's
the word
like
destruction,
a whole
not some sort
lifetime.
of overinflated
2 seconds.
exaggeration. Sure, the title was grabbing, but I don't make people wait till the end or leave them wondering what it is they're even watching. I tell them straight up right away, and I make it clear, which happened in the first, again, 23 seconds. But not only that...
I don't feel bad whenever people are like, oh, this is clickbait. Because I think that as long as something is like categorically accurate, like what the titles for these videos were, then it's okay. Now, I think that at a certain point there is, you are literally just lying with this title. But there are a lot of cases where things are technically correct, however, partially misleading. Or they're designed to be, you know, more salacious than what they actually are. Yeah, sure, definitely. But the reason why I don't feel bad about that is that every single time that a person complains about this, they will always misrepresent things in a way that's completely different than what they're talking about. So it's not like one of these things where it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to go and pretend like this isn't happening to everybody. They do the exact same thing. They, exactly. Titles don't matter? No, not really.
Reaction video included that very same clarity also in the first 23 seconds.
Oh, here we go.
If you watched either of these videos for less than half a minute, you would know exactly who they are.
Well, that's a long time.
Far more importantly, you would know that none of this had a single thing to do with modern politics.
No, nobody cares.
At all. Because it's all about the functionality of video games. It sounds straightforward, right? Watch a video for under 30 seconds and you'll know what it's generally about. Easy. Even if you don't know the full scope of what it contains in a more detailed way. That's not too much to expect, right?
Nope.
Wrong.
Well, the reason why this happened is because people don't like me. That's the reason. That's the reason why it didn't happen to Ross or Upper Echelon. It's because they don't have an audience of people that have circle jerk support groups about Asmongold derangement disorder. Like, that's basically what's going on here. Yeah, Asmongold derangement syndrome. Yeah, there you go. And you're right. That's the reason. It's because it was me. And if somebody else made that title, it'd be totally fine. But because it was me, it was a problem.
Wrong. Apparently, that's way more than can be expected from people these days.
Crazy?
Because after that video goes live,
there's a lot after him, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Which had a truncated version of my title, which itself had a slightly truncated and more ambiguous version of Ross's title.
Right.
The circus got started. Here's an example of a
And I guess I'm the ringleader then. Oh no. The circus begins. Oh.
Reddit thread with 4.7 thousand upvotes.
Wow.
If you don't know how Reddit works, that means 4.7 thousand people amplified this beyond the number that downvoted.
It's actually more than that, because there are people that downvoted this too. So you have to assume that it was more than 4.7 thousand.
Way more. Way more.
For being completely wrong, which popped up, even rising as high as one of the most popular posts from the entire week, where the person snarkily asks, are they in the room with us right now? The tagline matters because it indicates that the person making the post thinks this is somehow political, and then thousands of people jump on board, dogpiling Asmongold as some sort of idiot who has the wrong politics and it's different than them.
True.
The mods of this particular subreddit start banning people who try to clarify that no, that's wrong.
What?
And if you spent just 23 seconds of time listening, you would hear it.
Bro, Asmongold derangement syndrome.
Yeah, that's not an accurate statement.
There it is.
Not at all.
Asmongold good equals ban. That's what happens.
Laid out
Jesus.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Reddit is a ridiculous place with ridiculous people who very often congregate together and say ridiculous things at times. But no, this isn't the only example. It's one example of many. It's actually the smallest example. Jumping over to...
And keep in mind, this is all the circus that's not surrounding any of them. It's all about me. It's all about people getting mad about me. And the best part about the whole thing is the fact that this is the reason why whenever we played Hardcore WoW, I didn't join OnlyFans. This is actually the main reason. Is that I understand that I am the leader clown. I am the ringleader. I run the circus. I am the Lich King.
Aware.
Because the people that like follow me, and not you guys, the people that like follow the content can be fucking insane. The people that hate me are insane. Some of the people that like me are insane. Like, it's just...
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
It's really pretty crazy.
Twitter, there is a viral post with over 1 million views and counting, and 30,000 likes saying the exact same thing. Further down, the initial poster even admits, quote, "Oh, so the they is actually in the room with us. Hope he is clear enough with his audience about it so people don't wink it off like, we know what you really mean."
No, of course.
End quote. This is a viral post with hundreds of comments degrading, insulting, or demeaning Asmongold over things.
Oh, what are they just shit-talking retards? What am I going to get my feelings hurt about this? Most people, and I'm sure people think this about me, but I'm going to be honest. Most people, all I have to do is look at them, and then I know I don't give a fuck what they're saying. I don't care about what they're saying. Look at him. He's fat. I'm not going to listen to him. No way. Yeah, right. This guy looks worse than me.
What about Jesse?
They literally just made up in their own head. They think he must have said horrible things because the title made their brain think he disagrees with my politics. And the resulting display of headline news culture is about as embarrassing as it can possibly get. But wait, there's more. See, these are people that disagree with Asmongold or have predisposed negative opinions of him. These are very weak people, in my opinion, with very low critical thinking skills who jump to conclusions because they're determined to be outraged over whatever they possibly can. Even so far as
they're farming clicks and they're mad about stuff that I say, and so they just invent things. Yeah, that's the reason why. These people are emotional terrorists. Do not give them the credibility of calling them terrorists. They're just they're just idiots. Because like at least terrorists, like a terrorist can blow up a whole building.
These
guys aren't blowing anything up. The only thing they're gonna blow up is their ramen noodles in the microwave because they forgot about them while they're right now.
At least terrorists, they have a reason for what they're doing. These dumbasses, they just do things. You might think, well, they're doing it for a reason. No, they don't. They never thought about any reason to do this. They just did. They just do shit every day. They just do shit to get some dopamine in their brain and, you know, get themselves rolling. Yeah. They never think. They never ever think. They just need to get brain food for the day. That's what this is, right? They read the comments for 1 second per comment, yeah? And then they get the brain food and then they move on to the next thing. This isn't stuck in their head. They have nothing in their head.
These guys aren't doing shit. They're sitting in the damn house.
Manufacture things in their own head. But that's not the only type of person who engages in this type of idiocy. This is
also,
Mark Kern.
To be clear, with they, I meant that one guy. Because I don't know what they are, yeah? So I'm just gonna call them, just to be safe.
A.A. Grums. Grums has been very aggressively leaning into the whole Gamergate 2 type situation where DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, are under scrutiny right now, and he's been utilizing that wave of publicity to amplify his own projects and ride the social wave as far as he possibly can. Grums is about as far away as you can get from the previous examples, but let me expand on that just a little bit for people who don't fully understand. The person who posted the viral Twitter thread, whose screen name is Terminally Online Leftist, the one that didn't even listen to the first 23 seconds of audio, which would have informed them quite easily that their entire presumptive...
As I said, bro, it's the lack of the red bar. That it just says everything. There's no red bar.
Premise was
no, that's wrong. Dude, I've been in YouTube so fucking much over the last 2 years. Even if you watch 2 seconds, there's a red bar that's gonna skip it to like 30 seconds. That happens.
YouTube channel, where they've posted multiple different pieces of content defending a company called Sweet Baby Incorporated and debunking
you click on it again because you think, oh, I watched a little bit of this, but then it's gonna skip past where you actually watched. Then you click on it and you remember, right, I clicked on this 1-2 seconds into the video, but then it's gonna pop you at like 30 seconds or 1 minute. It's kind of dumb, depending on the length of the video, but it happens for sure.
Information, which is pretty straightforward. Inversely, Grums, or Mark Kern, has been relentlessly criticizing Sweet Baby Incorporated, as well as other community managers and
maybe they're just going at me,
among many other individuals, very often saying things that go on to be regarded as controversial, where people complain or try to debunk them, and the cycle continues. People like Grums decide to say things, people like terminally online leftists disagree with them, and vice versa, that also happens. Around and around it goes. Simple stuff. Well, terminally online leftists, without watching even 23 seconds of content to know that they are totally and completely wrong, makes a post which goes viral because all the other brain-dead morons who never read past the headline decide to smash the like button. But Grums, the complete opposite side of the political spectrum here, decided to make a thread, a very long thread, mind you, and pin it to the top of his profile, which is based on the very same false premise. His thread is completely about DEI in games and ESG scores and other politically motivated...
Yeah, it didn't have anything to do with that. To be fair, for credit to Mark Kern, he deleted this post and he apologized for it because he didn't know what it was. He did take accountability for it. Whereas the other people were like, yeah, well, we were wrong, but it's his fault that we thought this without looking at it because he made me mad before. And if I wasn't mad before, I wouldn't have been wrong now. So it's kind of like his fault that I'm wrong. So like, was I really wrong anyway? But yeah.
There's only one title. One word in the title. Cost 2 morons to go out.
Topics. Asmongold's
I'm serious. That's what I said.
When that wasn't even the subject of the video because he saw his opponent completely getting the facts wrong, since they can't even watch 23 seconds of content to verify anything, and then turned around using the exact same thing that his opponent failed to understand, as if it supports the point he's trying to make, because these people are so lazy and shallow, they can't even be bothered to spend 23 seconds of their time, not a single one of them, checking whether or not their assumptions are right about something. Think about this. Genuinely think about it. A video about publishers destroying video games comes out. Another creator does their own analysis and tries to raise awareness for a quality topic. Another creator after that reacts to it and adds their own opinion. And suddenly, the political brainlets have a meltdown. They don't watch any of it. They just assume...
To be fair, it's really just because it was me. That I genuinely believe that. It had nothing to do with anything else. Like, if it was somebody else, it would have never... It was just because it was me.
Ugh, I don't like him. He must be saying things I disagree with. So they rant about it on social media. Then their opponents jump in, don't even go back to the original source material at all to verify anything, and just pile on board thinking, well, those people hate it, so it must be agreeing with me.
Yeah.
When the entire situation from start to finish had nothing to do with politics in the first place. The level of incompetence here is staggering. Two different sides of a polarized and politically opposite discussion took a thing that had nothing to do with either of them, or the things that they cared about, and then ran with it as fast as they could, because headline culture is out.
When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And these people, this is one of the issues that happens.
True.
And this is kind of like what I was saying before. I forgot even what I was talking about in this context. But basically what happens, this is the Belluer thing. What ends up happening is that people get so hyper-focused and hyper-fixated on like their own little tiny pet issue. Like, this is the little thing that they care about more than anything else. Whether this is Sweet Baby or defending Sweet Baby, whether this is Israel and Palestine, whether this is the Ukraine thing, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's abortion. Like, everybody has like, not everybody, but a lot of people now have like these pet issues that the entire world revolves around. And a lot of their decision making in life is based off of the context of these decisions and these, like, this one individual incident. So what ends up happening is as soon as somebody sees something that goes against their programming for this one issue, they completely lose their fucking mind. So every single thing that they see, they view through the lens of diversity in video games, or they view through the lens of, you know, like fascism or something like that. So that's why you can't have conversations about, you know, the like tongue-in-cheek humor that Helldivers 2 has. We can't talk about that and just be able to relax and have fun, because there are people that are so emotionally fixated on making it some like serious personal issue. And that's really what the problem is with a lot of these people. It's that they're so hyper fixated on these issues that they can't just take a step back and relax. And they elevate everything. Yeah, these people are exhausting. They are. They're super exhausting. You ever been friends with a person like this in real life or been around them? They make everything worse because they constantly bring up things that people don't care about. They want to press issues. They want to argue about things. They're disagreeable. They like, and also like with a lot of these people, like this is my experience, right? I mean, you guys can tell me if yours is the same, but almost every single time whenever it's a person that gets hyper fixated on like a pet issue or like hyper fixated on something political, these people are usually unreasonable in like 5 other vectors as well. Like they're annoying and obnoxious in like 7 other ways too. It's just that this is the way that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know ones that I went to high school with, for example, and it's like, yeah, this loser never had any friends. They were always being obnoxious in class, and now they're super focused on complaining about like what the political climate is in the Middle East. Like, right, sure, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you tell, what you say to them, yeah. It doesn't matter what they read, what they think is always right. What they think is always good. The way they think is always good. They are so incredibly stubborn on their opinions. They never even consider that they could be wrong, and they don't have the balls to admit when they're wrong. And when they realize they are wrong, they just lie to themselves that they are not wrong, and they also mental gymnastics to convince themselves that they're not wrong. Just because they can't accept it. Because they're stubborn and they're dumb.
You're a fucking idiot. What are you doing?
I think that, to be honest, I used to do this when I was a child. It's childish. It's fucking childish. That's what it is.
Every single time this happens, that's really what it is. It's these, like, they're weird people that use this as an outlet to be weird. And so whenever they see anything on the internet, it has to fit into this spectrum. Why is it? Well, because a lot of them probably are on the spectrum
of control, and none of them are displaying even the most basic level of independent thought. They should all be extremely embarrassed right now and rethink how they interact with the online world, or better yet, just remove themselves from it. Because we're not just talking about being lazy here. We're talking about being mindless, social media browsing zombies who present no discernible signs of human intelligence whatsoever or critical thinking. Do better. That's it. If you want to support the content of someone
they don't want to do better, because if they have to do better, it requires them to think, and then if they have to think, then they're going to question what they're thinking about, and then this is just going to ruin their life. They're not going to think. It's not going to happen. That's the last thing that they want to do.
Does take at least 23 seconds to watch or read the
material.
The
last thing they want to do is, feel any sort of uncomfort, which is thinking, not being right. What I said. Not being right is uncomfortable. And because they're childish, they're not going to accept this. They're never going to accept being wrong, because it makes them uncomfortable, and the only thing they live by is emotions. So being uncomfortable it's like the worst thing that could ever happen to these people. Thinking takes effort. Effort is exhausting, and you know what exhausting is? It's uncomfortable, and that's the worst thing that could ever happen to these people. That's really what's wrong. That's really what's wrong.
Locals and Patreon are linked down below. Also a VPN affiliate if you want one of
They
those.
don't.
Deal.
They don't have a perspective, right?
As always, thank you.
They don't have a proper perspective of what's, what suffering is. To them, some small emotional discomfort is the most amount of suffering they ever had, right? Because they never failed at anything. They probably, right? They never fail, or maybe they never felt like they failed. Maybe they failed, but failure was never they never looked at failure as something that's bad, or at being an having imperfection as something that's not good, right? So they don't have a proper perspective to to make them feel, or to judge their own feelings properly. Yeah, to judge their own feelings objectively.
Thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.
There it is. I can't believe there's a whole video about this. Which, to be fair, this was really stupid. This was crazy, crazy, crazy fucking stupid. As I said, almost all of the people that make comments and get fixated on this kind of stuff, almost every single one of them is an anime profile picture.
Yeah, and I'm shitting on these people a lot. I'm not perfect, okay? I do this too, sometimes. But at least I fucking try, right? At least I try, and when people point out that I'm fucking wrong, I admit to being wrong. Because when people find out, I can't hide. Hiding just makes me look like an even bigger idiot. Right? That's it. That's it. Why the fuck am I this fucking mad over a dumbass video? You know what? I need to watch TikToks. I need to... Please, 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 please. Q. Give me some TikToks, please. I know you've been, twiddling your thumbs and, interacting. Maybe thinking of marrying Marty. Doesn't matter. You do what you do. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. But please, 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 please. Give me some TikToks. I need some TikToks. I need some TikToks. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Give me some TikToks, please. Please, just... Please, I know Arthium. I know you've been feeling... I know you need a raise. But please. Please. Please give me some TikToks. I'm begging you. Please give me some TikToks, man.